Most people see the law as a set of rules, but for Victor, the law is a fragile line against chaos. To spend a lifetime protecting that line is to change the way your brain processes reality. Behind the badge and the uniform, there is a psychology of constant vigilance and moral weight. It is a world where trust is a luxury and safety is a temporary state that must be earned every hour. Today, we decode the Guardian's mind and the hidden psychological cost of enforcing the law. We explore why Victor's perception of society is structurally different from yours. Understanding this reveals the burden of those who look at the shadows so you can stay in the light. First, let's look at the hyper-vigilance loop. The brain of a protector is always on high alert. Years of service have conditioned Victor's nervous system to scan for threats automatically. He doesn't just walk into a room, he identifies exits, notes suspicious behavior, and checks hands. His brain prioritizes survival data over social data, making him seem detached or cold. This is chronic high arousal, a state that is necessary for the job but exhausting for the soul. But this neural optimization comes with a shadow, the inability to ever truly turn off. Victor doesn't stop being a detective when he goes home to his family. He is still scanning. The Guardian's curse is the inability to see a crowd without looking for the one person who doesn't belong. Now, let's look at the second pillar, the cognitive dissonance of justice and the moral ego. For Victor, the world isn't divided into good and evil, but into those who follow the rules and those who don't. He sees the worst of humanity every day, which creates a deep, underlying, cynical bias. He struggles to maintain his faith in the social contract when he sees it broken so consistently. This creates compassion fatigue, the heart's defensive mechanism against overwhelming tragedy. To survive, he must develop emotional armor, a psychological distance that keeps the horror at bay. But the armor that protects him from the world also separates him from the people he loves. This is the hero's paradox. The more he protects society, the less he feels like he belongs to it. Then there is the burden of the blue wall, the intense pressure of the peer group. For Victor, his colleagues are the only ones who truly understand the weight he carries. This creates an us versus them mentality that can lead to isolation from the civilian world. He lives with a loyalty conflict where the rules of the group sometimes clash with the rules of the self. Now, let's look at the third layer, the trauma of the witness and the memory of the law. Victor's mind is a filing cabinet of images that he can never truly delete or unsee. These flashbulb memories are vivid, emotional, and can be triggered by the simplest things. He carries the ghost of the victim, a sense of responsibility for those he couldn't save. This leads to secondary traumatic stress, experiencing the pain of others as if it were his own. He lives with a duty anxiety, the fear that a single mistake in judgment could cost a life. This creates a hyper-fixation on procedure and protocol as a way to manage internal chaos. Now, let's explore the concept of legalism as a defense mechanism and the need for order. Victor finds comfort in the rigid structure of the law because it provides a map for the madness. When the world is messy and unpredictable, the penal code offers a clear black and white logic. But life is rarely black and white, and the gray zones are where Victor feels the most lost. The struggle of his life is trying to fit the complexity of human suffering into the narrow boxes of a report. This is the administrator's burden, the frustration of seeing the why, but only being able to act on the what. If he allowed himself to feel every tragedy, he would be paralyzed by the weight of the injustice. But how does this affect his real life outside of the precinct or the courtroom? Victor often finds normal problems, like a late flight or a loud neighbor, to be irritatingly trivial. He has lost his patience for civilian drama because he has seen what real tragedy looks like. This brings us to the emotional vacuum, the struggle to reconnect with soft emotions like joy or play. After a shift in the shadows, the light of a family dinner can feel blinding and artificial. This is where many protectors fall into the traps of stoic depression or functional alcoholism. They are trying to numb the noise of the day so they can exist in the silence of the night. Now, let's look at the dopamine of the catch, the rare moments of true resolution. Every few months, the system works, the evidence fits, the guilty are caught, and justice is served. This is the moral high, the feeling that the world is, for a brief moment, back in balance. For those few minutes, the years of cynicism and the thousands of hours of paperwork are justified. He is no longer victor. He is the hand of the law, a force of cosmic order. These moments are the Guardian's fuel, and they are the only reason he continues to endure the grind. Now, let's look at the social psychology of authority and the weight of the uniform. When Victor puts on the blazer or the badge, he ceases to be an individual and becomes a symbol. People look at him with a mix of fear, respect, and resentment, but they rarely see him. This is de-individuation, the loss of the private self in the service of the public role. It is a heavy mask to wear, and it eventually starts to shape the face beneath it. But what happens when the shift is over and the badge is placed on the nightstand? Many protectors experience the identity crash, a feeling of being nothing without the authority. The nervous system struggles to downshift from protector mode back to father or friend mode. They feel a power vacuum, a sense of vulnerability that they haven't felt in hours. Now, we arrive at the honest conclusion: you don't have to be a detective to learn from Victor. You just have to be a person who is trying to maintain order in your own chaotic world. Real justice is not a grand finale. It is a long, quiet, and often thankless series of choices. It is the ability to look at the worst of humanity and still choose to be the best version of yourself. You are the protector of your own values, and your badge is your integrity and your word. Stop seeking the quick win and start respecting the long vigil that actually keeps the world safe. The peace you enjoy today is a gift from people whose practice room was a crime scene. Don't judge the cynicism. Respect the psychology that allowed them to survive the shadows for you. Victor is not a hero by accident. He is a man who decided that the law was worth the personal cost. Let his story remind you that your line is always worth the struggle to hold it. I'm Leo, and I hope this note helps you find the strength to hold your own line today. Respect the Guardians, understand the cost, and never take your safety for granted. Until the next note, stay vigilant, stay grounded, and trust the justice within you. The line is thin, but it is strong because of people like you.